on this Monday evening. And it's just been a while since we had talked. And with everything that's been going on for all of us, especially people in the service industry, restaurants, bars, and the honky tonks, it would be nice to talk to somebody else and commiserate a little bit. For those of you who are in the service industry, you're a bartender, you're a waitress, you're a server, you're an owner. I guess some people are taking advantage where they can of the Small Business Administration's loans from the stimulus package. Some people cannot. But if you got less than 500 employees, and that would be most bars and restaurants and honky tonks, we'll have to see how this guy feels about what the government has done thus far to help out in this era of COVID-19 crisis. Our guest is the one, the only, Bobby Mackey of Bobby Mackey's there in Wilder, 40 plus years strong as a honky tonk. Bobby, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Gary. It's great to be on with you again.
That's great to have you. And this is the first time that people can't say, well, what was that, Gary Jeff? Just a half an hour long plug for Bobby Mackey's unpaid? No. People always think I'm getting something out of this when I have you on, because we obviously talk about the elephant in the room, and that's the big room you've got there in Wilder that's now dormant and has been for weeks. Bobby Mackey's. And as one honky tonker to another who has got no place to honk or tonk, I figured it'd be nice for us to sit and talk for a few minutes and about how it's been going. Now, I understand that you had some other changes in your life recently. You and your wife moved from one residence to another, so it was kind of nice to have the bar closed at first, but are you feeling it now, Bobby, just as far as missing the action?
It's getting a little old and, missing the music. This is the longest I've been off stage in 50 years of my career.
Wow.
And the music, I'm telling you, the country music's bottled up inside me, and I can't wait to get on stage and get that feeling again, that rush,
Have you written anything about this yet?
No, not about this, but I've been working on some songs, though.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a writer, you write. I mean, I know that even as someone who's been an unsuccessful songwriter but still keeps on banging his head against the wall or his pen against the paper as it goes, thinking about things and having ideas and thoughts and stuff, you always write. And most oftentimes you write about what you know and what you're going through, especially in country music.
That's right. And I really don't want to think about this. I don't want to write about this. I don't even want to think about it. It's just something we would have never have dreamed something like this would happen.
Yeah. You've been around, like you said, the first extended period in 50 years where you haven't been on a stage every week.
Wow, yeah. I was never more than 1 week. One time I was off 2 weekends in a row, but in the 42 years I've been in Wilder.
Wow.
Coming up 42 years, yeah.
So here's the thing. You're luckier than a lot of even great artists, because a lot of great artists, and I'm not saying you're not a great artist, but a lot of people who are very, very successful in this business have had more than 2 weeks off in 42 years for one reason, or by hook or by crook. I mean, that is a tribute to your endurance and the fact that people love you. Is that in 42 years, the longest you've been off stage other than this was 2 weeks. I mean, that's quite a tribute to your longevity and your success, I would say.
Yeah, that's and I've loved it all. And my band, they can't wait to get back to work.
Oh, I bet.
We all love what we do. I come out of Lewis County, Kentucky, a little town of Concord, right out of high school, and come down here and got a job on the railroad. But I left home with my guitar in one hand and my suitcase in the other, and never got far away from my guitar. And when I got a chance to get in music by being down here, in the greater Cincinnati area, going to jam sessions, and word got out, and first thing you know, I had a gig in a band, and
sure.
And I've been doing it ever since. And of course, that was 50 years ago when I started with the band. That's 50 years in the music business, but of course, growing up, a teenager and growing up and singing all the time, playing and singing, talent shows and places like that. But I count the 50 years as to when I started with the band out at the Apple in Woodlawn in 1970.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that definitely counts. I mean, I'm coming up June of this year if I'm still doing this, and
it's close. It's getting close.
Lips to God's ears. June of this year, it'll be 40 years I've been doing radio.
Wow.
And I've only missed a few weeks here and there because that does happen in our business from time to time. But where you're out of a gig or out of a full-time gig. But I started professionally in radio in June of 1980 in Gallatin, Tennessee. At a little station, a little 1,000-watt, and then it was a daytime station known as WHIN 1010, and there was an FM station that was a Nashville station, and I did some weekend fill-ins for them when I first started, and I believe I was making about, for about 55, 60 hours a week. There was no such thing as overtime, especially when you're a young kid, you're 19 years old, and you want a job so bad you don't care. You'll let them abuse you all that they will, and believe me, they will. As even at a mom and pop shop. But I think I was working 60 hours a week, Monday through Saturday, and I think I was bringing home about $150 a week. So.
Yeah, I was making about 25 a night.
Yeah, I mean, now that's 25 a night 1970 money, which is different than 25 a night here in 2020. Just like $150, $160 a week in 1980 is not that amount now, but still, it wasn't very damn much. But it didn't matter because we loved it so much.
Well, that's just it. That speaks for itself. Your long years in radio and my long years in music business, dedicated. The love for it kept us in it,
Sure. I had a radio partner in Dayton, Ohio when I first moved to Ohio from Tennessee. And I was doing a morning show at this station in Dayton. And he looked at me, and one morning he just goes, and he was so frustrated, Bobby. He just looks at me and says, Gary, Jeff, just understand, this business will never love you back as much as you love it. I said, Jack, I realize that, but it doesn't seem to matter to me. So, oh well. Bobby, if you can hang on, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more, if you don't mind.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right. Bobby Mackey with us on the Nightcap tonight. First time for a long time. It's great to have you back on the air with me, Bobby.
It's great to be back.
And obviously, we got nothing to plug. We're just shooting the breeze tonight.
We're just killing time till we can get out of this mess we're in.
No doubt about it. Hang on just a second more with Bobby Mackey in a moment on the Nightcap on 700 WLW.
During these difficult times, we are blessed to have the support of dedicated professionals. A thank you to doctors, nurses, first responders, and volunteers. To
One, the only Bobby Mackey. On this Monday evening, April the 6th, 2020, day whatever of COVID-19 mania in this country. I just, I hope everything that we've been doing to try and help stop the spread of this, Bobby, is going to make a difference in the end. They keep saying it will. I mean, what do you think?
Well, they got through 1918. Excuse me. Got through 19 and 18, and we've heard all the history about that and everything. We just never thought it could happen again.
Well, we certainly didn't have the medical technology and the know-how in 1918 that we've got in 2020, 102 years later. Things are much different in that regard. We're much more of a global community, so it was easier to spread. I mean, the Spanish flu of 1918 and the spread of that was caused by American GIs bringing it in the middle of World War I, and vice versa. They were going to the trenches, and they didn't know they were sick with something that was going to kill people. And we didn't have antibiotics. We didn't have a lot of the things that we have now. So that's what I distinctly differ the two with that. Is that go ahead.
I'm sorry. And the communication level back then compared to now.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, now something happens all the way around the other side of the world, and we know about it in about 5 seconds.
That's right. Can you imagine back then the communication and Cincinnati didn't know what was going on very much anywhere else.
No, that's true. I mean, it took days for wire reports or paper reports to get to people. We didn't even have commercial radio in 1918.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
as a flashpoint for people to get information. And now we've got so much damn information, it's almost information overload. In fact, I think that's part of the problem with people dealing with this right now is we've got so much information, and so much of it is not good. And so much of it is false, and so much of it has an agenda besides just getting the truth out to people about what's going on.
Well, this too shall pass, and we're America. We're Americans, and we'll get through it. And you know, we just got to get it stopped. I heard one of the doctors say that you know, if the virus doesn't have any place to go, it's going to die. It ain't got nowhere to go. You know?
It needs a host to continue to thrive and to live.
That's right. And I'm going to stay away from it best I can.
What have you been doing, or what haven't you been doing?
Actually, not much. You know, as you mentioned, my wife and I've been moving, and I've been in this house 45 years, and you know that's a lot of moving. You know, that's a whole lot of moving. But
yeah, let me ask you about that, Bobby. How much stuff have you brought yourself to the point of being able to get rid of? Because you accumulate stuff, even if you're not a hoarder, and I'm really not a hoarder at all.
I am.
But if you're not a hoarder, even if you're not a hoarder, when it's time to move, it's like you come across all this stuff and go, well, what the hell am I holding on to this for?
Well, it's just it's a piece of life, and it brings back to mind that particular place and time.
Yeah, I know.
And but you know, I've got rid of a lot, and some stuff I want to get rid of, but I want to hold on to it until I can get rid of it.
You sound like you need a visit from those American Picker guys. Is what you need.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and you know,
you ought to call Mike Wolf and Frank Fritz right now. Say, you know what? I got some stuff you guys might be interested in for your shops in LeClaire, Iowa, and Nashville, Tennessee. Why don't you come on by the house here?
One person's trash is another person's treasure. You know.
What's the oldest piece you still have?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it a piece of furniture, or is it a sign? Is it something else? Is it a guitar? What?
Maybe an 1879 coin.
Oh, wow.
Silver dollar.
Well, that'd be worth holding on to, though.
Absolutely. It don't take up much space either.
No. I mean, you don't need a U-Haul to collect an 1879 coin and move it from one spot to another. There's no way about that.
Yeah. But I got some old guitars too.
Yeah. What's your favorite guitar?
I got a 1939 Martin.
Wow.
An 015 Martin. One of them small baby Martins like Marty Robbins used to play. Got one of those. I love it.
No way you're gonna get rid of that.
No, it's hanging on the wall. I'm never more than 10 feet away from that guitar.
Have you played it recently?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Any other favorite guitars you got, Bobby?
I got a D28, a 1968 D28 that my guitar player I used to have with me said it was the best guitar he ever played in his life.
What's the significance of a D28? Me not being a guitarist, I don't know.
Well, it's a Martin.
Okay.
And a Martin is
Oh yeah, I know about Martin guitars.
Oh yeah, the bluegrass pickers, they love Martins, and I've got 3 or 4. Well, this 015 Martin is the one I spoke about that I love so much, and I got a D18, D28. I got a triple O Martin.
Okay.
But, I got an old Fender, a duosonic Fender that I played when I was 15 years old. My dad bought it for me when I was 15 years old, and I played it a long time, but it's retired. It's a keepsake. I'm not going to get rid of it.
So of all of them, if you had a Lucille in your collection, which would be the Lucille? Would it be the 015? Would it be the 39 Martin? What would it be?
The one I go to when I'm going to play somewhere with an acoustic situation, the D28 1968 model.
Yeah.
Would be the one. The D18 Martin was 1963. My mother bought that for me. There was a music store that was closing up going out of business up in Portsmouth, Ohio,
Yeah.
and Mom went up there and bought that guitar for me, on a sale.
Is your mom still doing okay, Bobby?
Yes, she is. Yeah. I was up there Saturday night because I didn't have no honky tonk to play.
Sure.
So I was up there Saturday night. Denise and I were up there, and I'm telling you, she had more spirit. I swear, she just went on and talked, and she doesn't hear well, so we have to. It's kind of tough to make her hear us, but she could talk. And
You can't really practicing social distancing without just yelling at her, right?
That's right. But she is great. She's amazing and the greatest person I've ever known. My mother. She's 100 years old. She's she'll be 101 in June.
Yeah. I knew that was coming up because we talked right after her 100th birthday last year.
Yes, we did. She still gets around. She don't want nobody to help her get up or nothing, and she lives in the same house. She's lived in that house since 1945.
Wow.
I was born there in that house.
Wow. Well, Bobby, it's great to talk to you. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us. We're not doing anything else anyway.
Well, Gary, Jeff, I appreciate it. Always appreciate talking to you, and thank you very much. You got to come over to the honky tonk sometime.
Well, when we get back to what passes for normal, we'll get back on the radio together, and we'll definitely finally do that. Okay?
Yeah, we'll talk again and celebrate when it's over.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bobby Mackey here on the Nightcap on 700 WLW.